Since we didn't get a chance to have a eulogy for my father, this is it. When I think of my father, Joseph Campisi, all that comes to mind is love. The amount of love he had for his family, for his friends, for his coworkers, for anyone in his life. He exemplified love. Everywhere he was, lived, and worked, he shared his smile, his wisdom, his humor, and himself fully. Growing up, we lived in small towns and he had average jobs, but he was everything but average and his heart was everything but small. Despite what it looked like to me to be, just an average life growing up, it was really far from it for him. The joy and love left in the wake of his existence was magnificent and everlasting. By simply being himself, he showed us all how to enjoy life and to love everyone in it from wherever he stood. All who knew him loved him. He was known as a man that was always happy, always joyful, and just always knew how to put a smile on everyone's face and would always warm up the room just by being there. He was more than just a friend, a neighbor, and a coworker. He was like family and like a father to many that knew him. And it was because he treated everyone like family. He welcomed people into his home and into his heart everywhere that he went, no matter who they were. I've always known I was my father's son in many ways, both good traits and bad. We're both Virgos, both artists, and both stubborn. And because of that stubbornness, especially, there were a lot of times growing up where I don't know if I always was so happy to be his son. But I know I also share his spirit, and I was reminded over and over at his funeral how much people were reminded of him when they looked at me, and even seeing some of the pictures of him when he was younger, many people looked at him and thought of me. So I truly am a reflection of my father in many ways, and I couldn't be more proud to be his son than I am today. And I'm very proud of my father for the love and guidance that he showed all of us, he showed me, and everyone that he knew, everyone in his life. He was an example of a life well lived, and he left behind a lot of love. The doctors would say that he had a bad heart, that he had an enlarged heart. But to those of us who knew him, we knew just how big his heart really was. I know he's in a better place now, free of his body, free of pain, free of suffering. I know that he's still with us, still watching us, still guiding, and still loving us. And he will always be remembered and loved. Thank you, Dad, for showing us how to truly live.